Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the pimp slap P.O.D., Mike M.
Pimpin' ain't easy, but it's fun like money. Got bookies on the run, now it's time to get money. Not the typical way to ball. It's last call like some convicts waiting on the next draw. You can feel the tension. Did I mention? Fools better pay attention, cause we getting paid like a pension. T's on the ones and twos, we not the ones that lose. Mike, money's killers, Mike even make the even news.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Buzz Sports Radio, you know we be pumping!
What up? What up? Welcome into Last Call. Here we go, Pub Sports Radio. It's Monday, April 22nd, and what a glorious day to go out there and attack these books. You guys know the deal here. On Monday, we bring them in and say, hey, Jose, he's going to be a lot of fun to go through the Major League Baseball card. And we got a ton of work to do tonight. We got plays lit up across the board. I got to say, I think collectively, Jose and I are looking at 8 Major League Baseball plays. I've got, I don't even know. I got, I think 3 or 4 hockey plays, and I might have 6 or 7 NBA plays. That's what happens when you bust up the books over the weekend. You got plenty of bankroll to get after it with, and get after it we shall. So excited to be there. Appreciate you guys coming in there, hanging out with us. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you decided to show up here and build this thing that we're doing here at Post Sports Radio, this glorious community of cappers and just solid people to be around, man. I'm fired up about this thing. Again, the weekend was glorious. I'm hoping we run it back today. I'm very confident we do. You guys know the deal here. We're getting in the last call. We ask you to do 3 things. Smash the thumbs up button. That's just good person adage right there. Anytime you get into the YouTube streams, throw the thumbs up out there. Hit that like button. Show the support. And it's super important here with Pub Sports Radio. We're building this community, but we got to get loud about it now. We're doing it on the regular. We're winning consistently. You guys are bringing in bangers on the daily. Go out there and show support. Let them know Pub Sports Radio is here. The more we get, the more we grow, the more we do. It's going to be a lot of fun to do that. Guys, you guys know the deal. Grab a pen and paper. Lots of action to write down tonight. It's going all the way through the night. Probably last game will pop off around midnight at the rate things are rolling. So it's going to be a ton of fun. And, of course, you guys share your plays in the chat. You guys make this thing so great here. We can come on. I can talk to Jose about baseball for an hour, 2 hours, maybe. I don't know, until he's got to go. But it's so much more fun when we see what you guys are on out there. And we can talk about that, root each other on. We're all looking at the bookies with the same goal. Take that money out of their pockets and put it into our bankrolls there. Let's keep going at that. And let's get after it. You guys know the deal. We will get into a recap before we jump in. Then we'll get into Major League Baseball. We'll line up the NHL. Then we'll hit up the NBA. And again, a ton of work to do. The first Major League game pops off at 6:40. We're talking the Phillies and the Reds. We're going to talk Toronto and Kansas City, the White Sox and the Twins. We've got action going on in Arizona and St. Louis. I better put a space there so I don't miss it. And then we're going to close her up with San Diego and Colorado before we move into the NHL, where we've got action in Toronto, Boston. We've got action in the Islanders, Carolina. And we've got action in Vegas, Dallas. We got action in the Edmonton spot too. And then the NBA. We got them all. We got plays lined up across the board. Brought the game today. Player props, sides, totals. You guys name it, we're going to have it. I'm excited. I'm fired up, man. I can't. The hardest part's waiting for these plays to start, but that's okay. That gives us time to get in there and get the action. Let's see what you guys are doing up there in the chat. Then we're going to bring on our guy, and we're going to rock and roll there. Joe T, my homie. I got to hang out with Joe T last night live, back from vacation. He's a little sleepy, but he still came and he brought the guns out there. He says, hey, Mike M, what's up? Let's get that cash. NHL best bet. He's on the Leafs and Bruins first period over 1.5. NHL Plays Vegas Stars first period over 1.5. Kings Oilers first period over 1.5. Interesting that you left one out there. I'm excited to talk about that game. And then his best bet, the Brewers first 5 and full game. Does F the Pirates. Interesting line on that Pirates Brewers game out there. Nasty Nate says Jets, Jets. Assuming he's talking about the New York Jets, because if I had my money riding on that Winnipeg Jets game last night, I'd be thankful. I'd thank my lucky stars that thing worked out the way it did. But hey, how about them New York Jets? Moving on, Zach Wilson. I'm sure that's what Nasty Nate meant when he said Jets, Jets, Jets. Let's go. I see Cookie Cam in the house. Says Jets won't win a single road game this series. Avs in 6. All I heard about was that solid, stellar goaltending that Winnipeg's got out there. Oh, they've got Hellebuck. They've got Broussard. And they got blasted for a 6-pack. Everybody knew that. Colorado's goaltending struggles, but we'll see how that series plays out. Man, it's so much fun to have playoffs here. There's our guy, Justin McKelvey in the chat. He says, what's good? It's Monday, man. Everything's good right now. Juggler 23, our guy bringing in the wise guy looks and angles and trends. You know we love it. He says, what's up, Mikey in chat? Here we go. NBA trend of the night. 1 and 2 seeds in round 1 after the first game of the series are 182, 119, and 4 against the spread, 60.5% win rate. And that's the Knicks and the Nuggets there for our guy, Juggler 23, sharing the goods for us. Michael Lester in the house, his last call, boys. Get your bets in now. My guy, Subhuman Gaucho. Andrew G up in the house. Nate Dogg, there's more. There's Trisha M says, Mike Moolah got us waiting like 10:59 at the liquor store door. Let's go. Andrew G says, what a cool intro by Jay Peasy. Man, Andrew G, best one in the business. Tell me I'm wrong. Get out of there. We also got a shout out to our guy, Mike Kendall, the voiceover there. He is the ring announcer for the LFA. Some combat action out there. Nice enough to drop me a little personal recording out there. Appreciate my guy, Mike Kendall. Of course, Jay Peasy. And T, getting it all tight and right on the 1s and 2s out there, making it all shine, baby. Let's go. Fernando Mendoza. Winner Circle says, hey, yo, he's got Austin Reeves over 13.5 points. Brunson over 30.5 points out there. And Ronnie Lofton going green again. Remember, for 17 months. Shout out to you, Ron Lofton. Michael Lester says, Phillies minus 120 under 8.5. The White Sox at Minnesota. And then the Padres minus 180. The Nuggets minus 7. Coin says, what's up, Mike, in chat? Let's have a Monday. Philly Eagle Flyers up there, top set, giving us the same game parlay. Says he likes the Nuggets money line, the team total under 155.5. The team total under 155.5 is plus 275. All right, let's keep it under 200, boys. Keep her under 200. He says, I'm going to smash that shit, hedge, pound it, and make some cash on it. Go get it there. My guy, Jay Peasy, we just talked about him being up there on the intro. He was out there rocking with Jose and Dabby Cab on Saturday with Say Hey Plays. Lots of fun to see our guy Jay Peasy busted it out there, spitting bars, dropping games out there that he likes to get his action in on as well. And Darius Moore. Boston Bruins, NHL, the Royals under 9, the Cavs minus 6, and the Sixers money line. I like that last spot there. I like that Sixers money line look, my guy. Let's talk about that game shortly. Top set says 115.5. Okay, I was like, damn, 155.5. Michael Lester says, Mikey Pimp Slap, I'm here for the money. Let's keep on cashing tickets. Ronnie Lofton says, I'm both those props myself, winner's circle. And there we go. Our guy, Subhuman Gaucho, giving us the hockey play of the day. Leafs money line in the over 5.5 total goals at plus 295. Hashtag Leafs forever. And there he goes, 16-10 with a 16.76 net positive units for our guy out there. Our guy T says, let's start the week off right and smash the like button. Top Set says, I made it, Jose. Apparently there was some issue. Maybe he wasn't going to make it, but I know Jose's glad to see you, Top Set. As with everybody out there in the chat, Darius Moore wants this paper. Court Wiley says, cash some tickets, Mikey. I'm ready, bro. Man, shout out to you, Court. I think you're the guy in the Pub Sports Radio contest out there that's kicking ass and taking names in the NHL. A ferocious start for the first couple of days of NHL playoffs. I see you, my guy. I see it. Darius Moore says, White Sox first 3 money line in and out. In my Jimmy the Bag voice, Top Set likes the Pirates first 5. Mike Wilkerson likes the Embiid first quarter points over. I don't have a book that's giving me those first quarter points over. I'll have to do some more investigation. I know a bunch of you guys have been cashing on those, and I got to get back in there. I don't want to leave any money on the table. It's a large card, but I still want to cash where I can, especially when you guys are dropping those plays in the chat. Philly Eagle Flyers is tied after second inning for the Rays, plus 134. The Royals, plus 186. The Pirates plus 138 and the Reds plus 172. I like that action. I like the way that looks. I like all that plus money, my guy. Go get yours, Philly Eagle Flyer. Justin McKelvey says, close to betting the Brewers plus 123. Old E says, what up, dudes? Nate Dogg 420 in that. Says Toronto money line over, full game, lean, draw. Matthews to score, assist. Bertuzzi to score out there. My guy, Ken Wood. Markel's up in the house. Says, yo, I got a plus 3,100 hoping to cash same game parlay in the Lakers. He was close to betting the Brew Crew as well. Brian Watson's there. Fernando Mendoza's rolling. He says, I've been cashing Brewers lately. I don't like them today. I'm leaning towards the Pirates. Line suspect. That line is suspect for a team that's hot and a team that's not. You're getting a real nice positive plus money spot on the hot spot there. It's an interesting one out there. Nate Dog 420 says Blue Jays money line. Kikuchi over KK's. Strikeouts, I'm assuming, is what he means there. Justin McKelvey says that Markel. Why you didn't? Probably same reason I didn't. Too easy. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, boys. That's kind of what I'm thinking. J Stone 9 says his favorite bet. Tie in the first period. Boston to win in regulation plus 500. I love to see that. Love to see that big score out there. I'll be rooting you on. Let's go. Let's get that money out there. Top Set says, I'm on the Sixers money line looking for an NBA script. Knicks are the Dallas Cowboys of the NBA. Saturated says Gary Harris over 9.5 rebounds and assists. Joker under 28.5 points and Embiid under 36.5 points and assists. I think it's good money on that Embiid under spot there, especially given the questionable nature of that knee surgically repaired and back in action. Ron Muffin says, I consider getting Nuggets at -6.5 at -115 a gift. We will see. And let's go. Let's get into it, you guys. We got a lot to get into. Not a lot of time to do it. Let's just bust through this recap right quick, and we'll bring our guy, Jose. 7-bet Bouquet is what we were calling him last week. I don't know. We'll see how many bets he's got in store for us today. But Friday, look, 4-7 spot Friday. You know, Friday kind of kicked off that run of nonstop first half unders. We double dipped. We had the Bulls first half under 100.5. We had the Sacramento Kings first half under 108.5. Both those cashed. We lost the Kings, though. Sadly, the Kings lost. What a spot for home teams, favorites. My goodness, I'll tell you what. When you see favorites winning like that, I'm probably not winning. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. That's not how I try to roll. But look, the White Sox shit the bed before the show was even over. The Kansas City Royals, they came through for us, though. +110, +115. The Cowser RBI did not hit. The Dodgers -1.5. Stunk. And the Bulls, same game parlay, and the Bulls +2.5 were also losers. Plus spots, not winning. I should have just taken them on the money line. Fuck, if I'm going to take the loss, I might as well take a nice little plus number behind it. Well, it doesn't all count the same, I guess. So -110's a lot less likely or a lot less exciting to lose than an even money spot. But that's how you do it. That's how we busted up and blew it on Friday. But that is okay. We fired off on the weekend. Man, that 420 show with Dutch and Dabby, we're rolling, man. We were rolling indeed. And we just had just an onslaught of winners going through that live stream. Carried into yesterday. Another stack up there. The first half under in the postseason in the NBA now is 12-2. 12-2 in 14 games. That's including play-in games. So make a note, write it down. You know we're going after all three of those tonight. The fuck, at this point, we've been riding it long enough, but we got time to get there. NBA doesn't pop off till 7 o'clock. What we do have no time to wait on is the NBA. Let's bring in our Monday guest here, star of Say Hey Plays. He's all over Pub Sports Radio. Hardest working young man in the business out there. Let's bring him on. Jose, looks like he's wearing his Jets jersey. Bouquet, baby.
Yeah, you mentioned my boy Zach Wilson getting traded, so I had to honor him, you know?
How do you feel about that?
Get the fuck off my team. The good riddance. Good God, that guy was fucking horrible. Out of here, he says. Yeah, I need to go into the eBay machine and go buy a Mark Sanchez jersey. He's my one true love, and I need to get a Sam Darnold jersey. But I think I'm just gonna pride myself on collecting Jets jerseys of quarterbacks that suck balls. So I need a Bryce Petty jersey as well, and we'll start the whole movement. But MLB is here. We're gonna talk about some games, Mike, and hopefully I get you to talk me onto your squad here because I want to talk about your Phillies, and I'm excited we're talking about them.
Well, let's do just that. I know a lot of you guys are talking in the chat about this Brewers and Pirates game. Look, I'll give you the numbers. By the numbers here, the Pirates open up at -130. They're -145. 69% of the bets, but only 32% of the cash on this Pirate side of things here. Not a game that I'm involved with here. I know Jose doesn't have any action for us on this game.
No, I lean Pirates, though.
I'm with you. I think it's a raise it up type of situation. The total's dropping from 8.5 down to 7.5. You know, the Brewers definitely on a run. They've been kicking ass and taking names here, but low scoring, cold bats, working with their pitching staff out there. And that's where I think the Pirates can neutralize these guys here. You got to ask yourself here, and maybe it's not just as simple, but A 14-6 team in the Milwaukee Brewers out there rolling on the road. You look at this Pittsburgh team that has been struggling. They've strung together, 7 straight losses, I believe. The Brewers have about 4 straight wins, going for lucky number 5 here. It was a 1-0, a 2-1. They did have an explosion, 12-5, and then a 2-0. And now they're sitting there at a plus 126. That is the definition of they're begging you to take the Brewers' money. Now, you want to go get that Brewers' money, plus money. Listen, they don't pay if they lose. Just keep that in mind. But that being said, Jose, if only they did pay us even a little bit for the loss. Like, hey, if you stuck around the casino long enough and you got your ticket in hand, maybe we'll give you $1. We'll give you a free Coke. How about that? Get you a free Coke.
I'd like that. I would have gotten a lot of free Cokes last year. They would have called me Free Cokes Bouquet if instead of reverse sweep Ramon. It would have been Free Cokes Bouquet after that.
And Meta D says Pitt's pitcher excels in fastballs and sliders. Number 1 team versus fastballs and sliders is the Brewers out there. It's a tricky matchup. That is, there's so much action on the card tonight. I skipped right over it. Let's talk about this 640 matchup, though. This one is on deck to get rolling here. Phillies, the Reds. And we've got this thing opened up at a minus 110. Kind of sitting at a minus 110, but we do have 67% of the bets and 87% of the cash on the Phillies. No line movement. The line is dropped. It opened at 9. We had 64% of the bets and 52% of the cash on the over. And what we looked at is this thing dropped from 9 to 8. We look at the bets, we look at the cash, and then we look for the reaction. If you guys are new here to last call, we look at the bets, that's the soup. That's everything. That's the carrots, the celery, the onion, and the garlic. It's the $5 bettors. It's the teasers. It's the parlays. It's the round robins. It all rolls into the bets. Then we look at the money and we say, okay, generally speaking, sharper bettors or bigger bettors aren't going to go in there rolling 10 dimes on a 5-leg parlay. So we look at how the cash is coming in. We look at how the bets are coming in. And then we try to look at how the books are reacting. That's the key piece that makes this thing so different. It gives a shit where the money is. We want to see what the books think about where that money is. And I'll tell you right now, with all that money on the Phillies, books don't really seem to give a shit. In fact, they're thinking it's a lower scoring game. Jose, for me, we got Hunter Green. We got Suarez going there on the Phillies side of things. Suarez here, 1.73 ERA and a 3-0 start on his young season. The bats are starting to wake up in Philadelphia as well. Let's not what I got back-to-back series sweeps here for the PHLs, man. The White Sox were no challenge for them boys. They just dusted them up, and very rare that I lose every single.
Is that what people call them? The PHLs?
That's what I call them. That's their airport code.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Call them what you want. Call them fucking winners. Call them potential World Series champions, Jose. It's the Reds and the Phils here, and I gave this out on the sesh earlier today. I talked about this total, and look, I went to the under. You look at this Phillies team here, so maybe this helps you kind of come up with the formula, Jose. But I looked at this total, and I see, first of all, we've got what I think is going to be a potential issue with the bullpen factor for the Reds. As much as the Phillies bullpen's not necessarily enamoring anybody, we'll talk about it in a second. But what I did look at here is the Phillies. The road Phillies right now have gone under the total 7 straight times on the road. For whatever reason, their bats cool down. They're hitting 50 points less when they're on the road than they do at Citizens Bank Park. They just had the benefit of back-to-back series out there at home to get those bats heating up. But look no further. Bryce Harper is out. He is on the paternity list. He's going to go out there and become a pop. But in the meantime, the Philly bats are going to have to go figure it out without him. Then we look at Ranger Suarez when he's a road favorite. He's 4-12 to the under. 16 game spots there, 12 unders, 4 overs here. I took the 8.5. I told you guys, take that thing early. It went from 9. It went to 8.5. It's still sitting out there. I mean, you could probably get some juicy 8s now, 8.5s, but I see 8s across the board. I told you that was going to happen. Hopefully you got that 8.5. I still like the 8 though, Jose. The thing that I kind of alluded to when it came to this side for me was, we saw Montas, right? What happened the last game out there? Taylor Ward dings the fucking guy right off the throwing arm. First inning. It's a bullpen game. Surprise, surprise for the Reds. If I was going to take the Phillies, I would want them in the full stretch in this thing here. I know the Reds have won as a home team, I think they're like 8 straight underdog Monday winners. I don't know why the Monday dog situation for the Reds takes place, but they're winners in those spots. I just think you lost your bullpen rotation out there. You had to kind of make do from the second inning on that last game simply because Montas had to come out of that game. I think it's a tough spot if you're looking at the Reds. I'm not so sure I want to be involved with the Phillies either, the way they hit cold on the road, Jose. I don't know if that helps you at all, but after all that diarrhea I just spewed out there, what do you think about that game? How do you make heads or tails?
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm not on Phillies money line. I told T I was just on the Phillies game. I forgot to send him my bets, so I'm not on Phillies money line. Though I did want to bet it. I just took the first 5 under with you, Mikey. I heard your reasoning earlier here. I got first 5 under 4.5 minus 125. Tweeted out all that good stuff. But I did want to back the Phillies here. I was a little wary, but on my side, you had the wrong line opener, and it opened up the Phillies as dogs. And I was like, oh, they flipped the favorites. So I did more research into it, and I just didn't end up on the Phillies. So I took the first 5 under here with you, Mikey. I'm rolling. I did see someone talking about how the Reds bullpen is depleted, so that's nice. But we should be good here for our first 5 under. Luckily enough for T, I think the rest of my bets are money line, so I think we're set there. But first 5 under 4.5 minus 125 was my thing there.
I looked at that first 5 and I thought, just going the depth of this thing, fewer at-bats, kind of shrinking the game down as your father likes to say, shrink the game down, as few opportunities as possible. And given that bullpen situation, I'll tell you what, this game's the pivotal game. Depending on how deep this pitching staff goes or how reliable they can count on Hunter Green here, this Phillies team's probably going to be live and at a damn good price the rest of this series, knowing that this bullpen situation has definitely got a big question mark behind it. So I like the total. I'm with you there. I've got the full game under 8.5. I love the 4.5 as well. I know there's still some 4.5s out there that are a little bit juiced, but for me, I just I don't know that this is the game for Philadelphia. I think the next couple, especially with the pitching matchups, are going to. I just don't. Ranger Suarez to me isn't number one start a series off material, and Hunter Green with his 4.36 ERA. I mean, something's got to give between these guys because Suarez has been pitching stellar and Green's been kind of suspect here, and I think I would look for these guys later in the series if I was thinking about the side. But I'm in on the total with you. Let's go. Let's get that cash, my guy. Let's get moving.
Yes. Let's
so that's
ride
a 6:40
here.
Start.
Yes, and I'm sorry I made T's life a lot more difficult here, so I apologize to T in advance for what I just did to him. But shout out to T.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he likes to work and then have the work put in there, and then it's not even being utilized. That's I know T likes to roll like that. So shout out to our guy T getting it done though. Always keeps a positive attitude about it.
When is it going to be tea time? I'm waiting for tea time.
Listen, man, he went 3-0 in the UFC. I don't know if you heard that or not, but
out there, I heard.
Winner.
I'm just waiting. Again, I'm just waiting for tea time because I like that drop. God damn it.
Mel, you guys are great, man. Mel says I might have to reevaluate everything I know about hockey if the Winnipeg Jets win this game. I mean, it was 7-6 and there was a questionable goal in there. Everyone's talking like they got fucking their shit pushed in, Jose. It was a 1-goal game.
Well,
I mean, listen,
Mike, if it makes you feel better, Mike, I have the Avalanche to win the Stanley Cup this year, and I gave it to a friend for an office pool. So I'm rooting hard for the Avalanche with you here. I was watching and I was nonplussed about the score. But I like if we're scoring 6 goals on the Jets, who have been a 5.5 ball club all year for totals, I think we'll be okay. I agree with you.
And they're going to go to Annan in the next game here. It sounds like you kind of have to, the way that you saw Georgiev play there. But we got plenty of time for hockey. Let's talk about some baseball. We've got plenty of games to go through. We got to get moving on this thing here. We got to get a brisk pace, Jose, because you know the deal. We got a lot of sports to cover, and we want to make sure we get them all in before they pop off. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals are next on the docket. This is a spot that I was leaning one way, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody here. We got a 60% bet, 75% cash on the Blue Jays. The line has moved from -108 to -118. And we got a total that is on the climb. It opened at 8. It's moved all the way up to 9s and 9.5s now. 54% of the bets and 57% of the cash on the over. And Jose, this is an interesting spot. I'm eager to hear how you're going to attack this game. You got Kikuchi, 2.08, the Gooch, baby. And then you got Singer on the other side with a 1.54 ERA. Mowing him down, lights out Singers out there. Been calling him, I heard. But that being said, Jose, talk to us about this game here. How are we getting paid?
Yeah, I've been on my my guy Kikuchi all year. I'll keep betting on my guy Kikuchi. Shout out to Ella, Jimmy's daughter. She's got a good eye for talent. That's her favorite pitcher. I ride, and he's been winning for us. So I'm on Blue Jays money line here yet again. Interestingly enough, the Royals start up as favorites in this game, -110, and then obviously we've had a flip now, -110, -117 at Bovada for the Blue Jays here. And they actually in Bovada, they opened up -111 for the Blue Jays. So only 6 cents of movement there. But on Bet Online, -110, flipped. I'll take it. I've been betting these flip spots all year. I like the Blue Jays to win here. I think they're just a better squad, and Kikuchi's a pitcher I trust here. So, and by the way, shout out to Troy Torrance, Reds Twins for him today. I do have a parlay here as well that I'll mention. I parlayed one of Troy's cash cow spots, the Twins, with the Blue Jays here that I like. I got plus 185 for the two, so I like it, and I'm riding.
What you got? Minnesota and Toronto at plus 185.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. I like that we're making parlays cool again. You know, it's like they had such a negative. There's such a stigma. Everyone was like, "Oh, parlays." I'm glad to see him back, man. I can't believe they ever left. Parlays are fucking the main.
I don't like making them, Mikey. I don't like making them either. I just try to make these little two-leggers, the hip to be square-esque as well. How'd that go last year? Didn't you have a bet with one of your buddies about that?
Yeah, I did.
That doesn't sound good. I don't like the tone in your voice already.
No, I think it was like 1 or 2 games under 500. So. As far as the record, I think I was down like 2 units or something, like 1.5 or 2 units. So it wasn't as disastrous as it sounded, but it's like anything else. I got to those last couple games and I was trying to go for the big swings there to try to make the ground up, and it just there was a stretch where I think I had like the worst run was like maybe 6 games lost in a row, and not easy. I don't like betting favorites, and I will, but. You got to give me a damn good reason to do it. And it was hard to, I think it rounded me off as a capper because I had to spend time looking for favorites that made sense in those angles. And generally I try to go after the dogs like that Oakland Athletics plus 215 this morning, but we won't talk about that. The bet to be mentioned later. Here's what I'm going to do on this game, Jose. I
like another underdog with you earlier. Or later, I should say.
I'm going to jump on this under 9.5. Now, this line has moved enough for me. I see that it's 50-50 split, but we got a 1.5 run movement. And I remember Troy talking about it last year, and I don't remember the exact circumstances. I just remember when the line moved more than a run, it was an opportunity to go the other direction. And now at 9.5, it's -120. The Blue Jays' last 8 road games have gone under the total against AL Central opponents, so they are definitely in a spot to roll on the under. Brady Singer. Shutting him down. He's 7-0 when he starts as a home dog going back to July of last year. So not often he was in the dog spot there as kind of the ace of that pitching staff. But I think together I put those in there and I look at it and I think I like the Toronto spot. I definitely heavily lean to Toronto. I just like this total more. I think this is a spot where they shut him down. Probably a little bit cooler. I mean, 68 degrees here. We got 17 miles of hour wind out there. So
blowing out straight out too.
Makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's why the total skyrocketed there. I think so. But I mean, I think you say is a ground ball pitcher, and Brady's real good. So maybe everyone's just betting it, and the total's going up just because of that win.
I'm hoping that's the case because I don't want to be on the wrong side of a losing ticket. Let's roll onward here at 7:40 p.m. Eastern. We've got the White Sox and the Minnesota Twinkies out there. We got a minus 180 that moved to minus 200 now, a 1-2 favorite in the Minnesota Twins with 91% of the bets and 91% of the cash. Jose, we might as well say it. Everybody likes the Minnesota Twins in this spot here. We got a total that opened at 8.5. It's at 8.5, despite the 70% of the bets on the over, 64% of the cash on the over. A frozen line on the total, and everybody's pouring in on Paddock with that 8.36 ERA. On the other side, a young up-and-comer in Cannon. He's going to put the cannon out there. He's got a 1.8 ERA. And what a battle here. We know that obviously we see that the White Sox coming off that severe beatdown against the Phillies. They did get beat up against Kansas City, but they snuck a win in there. And it's important to note that we were on them when they snuck that win in there. The Minnesota Twins, on the other hand, well, what do you want me to say, Jose? 1-4 in their last 5. Busted up against them Detroit Tigers. And kind of an under team as we look at things here. But look, the floor is yours. Talk about this game for us here. You have any action? You want to get paid?
No, they're just on the parlay. Yeah, they're just on the parlay. That's it. But Godspeed to you if you're on the White Sox here, Mikey. Godspeed to you. The reason why, I mean, shout out to Troy. He'll say it more eloquently than I will. And he's a Chicago guy. So we talked about this White Sox quite a lot on Sunday. It was quite funny. But I mean, the line opened up at minus 180 and it moved to the White Sox or to the Twins there. And it moved with all that public money and tickets on the Minnesota Twins. So I just think those instances, they tend to roll is what I've seen. And shout out to Troy. He's got his cash cows. I saw that with Severino the other day against, I think it was, I don't remember who it was now. I was going to say the Brewers, but I don't think it was. But yeah, I just think the Twins roll here. But at least it'll make it hopefully interesting for you, Mike. You let you sweat a little bit, you know?
Well, I'm just looking at this as I'm trying to clean up some action here. I think I left off a crucial 2 letters as well that were F5 here. So first spot for me with this White Sox team is plus 172 now is the current number that's out there. And the full game is plus 185. So of all the games in the series, this is probably the only one that the White Sox have a chance to win. I understand the injury factors. You know, we're talking about it. Lou Bob definitely would rather him be in than not, but you know, these boys are okay. They're not, tough series against the Phils. You know, Moncada and Lou Bob are still out of this lineup, right? On the Twins side of things, though, Max Kepler, Carlos Correa, Anthony DeSclafani. I mean, these are some Royce Lewis. These are some depth bats that you have in your lineup that are definitely out of this thing. And for me, I get it with the numbers, but there's pitchers I want to sell. And Chris Paddock is one of them. He's 17-7-1 to the over when he starts as a home favorite. Have been no unders in this fucking meatball starting performances over his last 9 starts out there for this guy here. His last game, if you want to talk about this guy, 9 earned runs, 12 base hits. He's a home run machine. Every time he plays, someone's getting a home run off this guy. I'd even look to Andrew Vaughn to go out there and go yard on this fucking guy. Andrew Vaughn, I think is +2. Let me see what his RBI is right now. Let me see what Andrew Vaughn's RBI number is.
You guys smell that? That smells like a ribeye cooking. That smells like a ribeye cooking. Oh, no.
He's sitting at plus 165. Where is he at in the lineup itself? This is real life. This is real time. This shit's happening in front of you guys.
You're watching the cooking happening right now. You're watching the ribeye get, seasoned, little sear on it.
I got a ribeye in the fridge that's got my fucking name on it too. Andrew Vaughn in the 5 spot. No experience against Chris Paddock here, but nonetheless, he's plus 165. We're going to lock him in there as well. So this is a little triple up opportunity here. Plus 165 for Andrew Vaughn to go get this thing done for us there. So the ribeye spot here for the night will be Andrew Vaughn plus 165. The White Sox plus 192. The first 5 plus 172, Jose. We got 2 games left on this Major League Baseball card here. Are you surprised by any of the action or any of the comments that you've heard thus far?
No, I thought you were going to be on the other big underdog in the card today that was left, not the White Sox. So that was a little surprising. But no, otherwise, no, not really.
I mean, listen, in all fairness, I don't usually take 3 losses on a team here. So I did just that against these Phillies. I faded them and took these White Sox, 3 days in a row. So, I mean, here we are with day 4. We'll see what happens in this one. This one to me just felt like this is the spot to capitalize on the pitching rotation and everything else that is. But Jose, at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, you got yourself a little spot to talk about here. We got the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Snakes, baby, against them St. Louis Cardinals out there, a line that's opened up at -120 and has dropped to -112. 59% of the bets and 71% of the cash on the St. Louis Cardinals. Then we got a total that has not moved. We have 92% of the bets and 94% of the cash on the over in this game, and it is frozen as a rope, my guy. Jose Bouquet, you've got Lance Lynn, you got Brandon Pfaadt out there. We'll see what happens here. Pfaadt with that 5.32 ERA. Lance, the Bulldog Lynn, starts the game off. There's already runners on second and third base for Lance Lynn, but he's got a 2.18 ERA to start this young season off, Jose Bouquet. I'm going to throw it to you, my guy. How are we getting paid?
Yeah, so I've been back and forth on this, Mikey, and I would love to talk this out with you. I want the Diamondbacks. Let's start there. Brandon Pfaadt, a guy on my backlist this year. Lance Lynn, a guy on my fade list this year. Lynn's been pitching, really well. So shout out to him. His last appearances, I just had them pulled up. Last appearances, again, Oakland, 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, only one of them earned. Pitched well against the Phillies, 5 innings, 1 hit there, 2 runs, none of them earned. Got bounced around by the Marlins a little bit, so maybe, mentally just was not all there. But I do like the Diamondbacks here. Now, the worry is obviously I'm getting Brandon Pfaadt off of probably his best performance of the year. And I think I took a first 5 under in that game, which was nice. But 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them are earned. He started off his season going 5 innings, 1 hit, or 5 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned run. But against the Chicago Cubs, I just think that's just more impressive. I want to back him here, and I want to back the Diamondbacks here. Now, the question was, do I want to back him first 5, full game? And I was hoping to talk this out with you, Mikey, and see what you have to say about it. But I'm most likely going to be on the Diamondbacks here in some form or fashion.
Well, I look at the K props when I look at these pictures for the first 5s. I love to see those little angles there. And, the Pfaadt K prop is 5.5, but it's heavily juiced to the under. So for what that's worth, over 5.5 down to 4.5s out there. Then you look at Lance Lynn and he's 4.5, hasn't moved, and he's juiced to the over. So, you kind of break this thing down. You start trying to figure out how do you want to isolate this matchup. I'll tell you this much, Jose. Lance Lynn, 75-30 when he's starting as a home favorite and a total set at 9 or less. He's gone 6 straight wins for Lance Lynn. Of course, that means that they have to be up when they take his big ass out of there. And Mikey, on the other side, yeah,
this is the spot, Mikey. His first game, the Cardinals series as a favorite.
Listen, I was going to drop in there and I was going to give you one more too. You got Arizona on the road versus a good right-handed pitcher in a non-divisional game, 38-14. They're 8-2 in their last 10. That's an Arizona-specific spot as well. Jose, I can't be mad at you going on. I'd take the full game in this thing if it was me. I mean, I can't tell you where to put your money, but I'd want every opportunity to get Lance Lynn out of there and give me everything that this Arizona team has to offer and hope that they go out there and find their way to 7 or 8 runs.
All right. Well, as the graphic says, T omniscient as always. I'm on the Arizona Diamondbacks. I've got them at even money. Full game.
Jose Bouquet's going with them Snakes, baby. Arizona D-backs out there. I saw a meme the other day, and I was like, man, how did I never see this before? And how can I ever fade Arizona again? Because they had the boys, they had them rolling around celebrating, and they were doing the snake thing with their hands in the air. I was like, oh, that's pretty fucking cool. Way to get into it, fellas. Way to get me excited. That doesn't take much. Let's, Jose, last game that I've got on the card here, and then we're going to get rolling into the rest of the show, is this Padres and Rockies game. Padres sitting there, minus 185, has dropped to minus 174, 87% of the bets, 98% of the cash on the Fathers. the Colorado Rockies. I read today, I can't remember the exact number, but they're the only team in baseball in so many years that's been down in every single game they've played this season. It's bad. It might be the worst team that we've seen. They're not having any success at home. They're not having any success on the road, although we did fade Toronto one game and picked up like a plus 240 with them boys. That being said, though, this was an opportunity. First game of the series, strong favorites. First game of the series are 24-2 straight up, 20-6 on the run line if they won the previous game as a dog and lost the previous as a dog or small favorite before that. So it's kind of a little rolling opportunity. Dylan Cease, though, the guy's 14-6 when he's favored on the road against a divisional opponent. And to me, this is a great opportunity here. We've got teams longer than a plus 150 are 0-25. Longer than plus 150 means the line is bigger than plus 150, like a plus 155, a plus 160, something of that nature. And in this case here, I like the pitching matchup. I think Dylan Cease comes out there early. I'll tell you what, I did a little line shopperoo on this one here. I've got the minus, it was minus 113. It's moved to minus 115 for the minus 1.5. I'm okay with that one. We're not giving out too much juice in that spot, but I looked at where the books think they're vulnerable. It looks to me like the books suspect vulnerability around 3.5 and 4.5 runs. So wouldn't surprise me to see the Padres go out there and kick the shit out of these boys, at least a 3-run type of game out there. Minus 3.5 was plus 225, I believe was the number. I may have looked that up and I may have sprinkled on it, but for official show purposes here, I'm going to go with the fathers here. I love this spot with the road team getting the extra at-bats too in the 9th inning. They should be able to continue to give them a baby seal treatment, Jose. Fucking club to the back of the head.
That's it's vivid. I can picture it very clearly. But Mikey, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to step in and protect that baby seal. I am on the baby seal Rockies here, I believe. I don't believe. I just bet them first 5. I bet them first 5 plus a half, even money. Austin Gomber. First 5 king from last year, one of the best first 5 pitchers units wise. I don't know what it is. The Rockies always find a way to pitch or to hit for him. And when I watch these games, it just makes me laugh truly. And I'm like, is it Austin Gomber actually being good, or do the fucking Rockies just decide to show up during his starts? But I think I'm going to believe in him here. And, you know, Mikey, it's a very public spot for the money line, obviously. Now, maybe I should be looking at run line here, but 87% of the bets and 98% of the money on the Padres here. I had this opening up at a minus 175 on Bet Online. It's a minus 169 now. At Bovada, it opened up at minus 185. Now it's minus 180. I think the Rockies might be alive here, and I'll just limit it to the first 5 innings. Let's just get out of here. And I'm going to be super pissed because first 5 is plus 140, just straight money line. Plus a half is even money. And I'm just sitting here like, damn, what do I do? So I bet the first 5 plus a half to be a pussy. I definitely thought about betting both. But I'll sit here and consider it. Just, I don't want to double up against you here, Mikey. So that's a concern, obviously.
Do you, you got to make your own bets. You got to put your money where you want. Definitely want to. I'm not going to win them all. That being said, though, I'm curious about the plus a half because your father had educated me last season on dropping the half and seeing how much of an impact it made to the game. And, it did generate more results. And I was thinking about that with this game particularly. There are some games I've taken the plus a half on for the first 5. I'm curious your thoughts here because to me it seems like, so you think Colorado could be tied with San Diego, and that's why you're taking the half?
Yeah. And again, I've been going back and forth about taking the half and not. You'd think you'd want the half in a lower scoring, lower variable game here. But since we're in Coors, I should just take the straight money line here instead, because we're getting a 10.5 total. 64% of the bets and 73% of the money on the over. It did tick up to 10.5, opened up at 10. So that variability and it opened up at a 10 minus 125. So you could tell me it was a 10.5 already, and I believe you there. I think I'm just going to text my old bookmaker. Hey, can I cancel that first 5 bet? And then put in a first 5 money line bet. Do you do that, Mikey? Am I a weirdo for doing that?
Well, I got rid of the halves. I don't even do it. But no, I canceled that fucker right up until generally speaking, the rule for me, I think it's, I don't know, FanDuel, you can go in there and cancel them as long as the lines haven't moved. But I think you have like a 30-minute window as long as the line hasn't moved to go out there and cancel the bet from my local. So yeah, if I drop something in there and I fuck up, then I'm going to go in there and try to fix it. If I want to go aggressively the other direction, I was just thinking with that game particularly, it's more likely they're up or they're down versus they're tied. I mean, I know that kind of sounds black and white, but like you're leaving almost a third of a unit on the table by the fact that, like, what are the odds they're going to be tied in the grand scheme of things? You got a 33% chance that they're tied, right? They'll have thirds, either up, down, or tied. But really, it's a 50-50. I don't know. I don't want to talk you off it. I'd be curious.
No, I mean, I just already sent the text message. I bet the first 5 money line plus 140. So I'm on those Rockies here, first 5 here. But we got to get to the association, Mikey. It starts here in about 13 minutes. So I appreciate you. Thank you for hosting me as always. I am on this first half under with you in this first game. I'd like for it to cash, and I'd like to bet the next first 5 under again there, or the first 5 again. Fucking first half under. See, this is why I don't bet the NBA. It's a fuck sport. But shout out to everyone in the chat. Top Set, Nasty Nate, all you guys. We appreciate you, Troy, Ron Walsack. Ron, I again, the Coors Field fade. You know what that is, Ron. You know what it's like. Ron Lofton, Coin, Mike, Deshaun G, Markel, Justin McKelvey. All you guys, we appreciate it. Follow us on Twitter. Hit the like button here. Stick around for old Miguel Money's action here, because I know Miguel Money's got some bangers here. So yeah, let's get to the NBA and to the hockey, because I'm excited to hear what you have to say about that.
Well, let's do just that, Jose Bouquet. I appreciate my guy Jose coming in here on the Monday spots for us. Look, because of the situation that we've got with the NHL popping off here, I'll tell you guys the way that I'm playing this Bruins game, and then we'll jump into the NBA and circle back to the NHL. Time is what it is. Time is where we are. I parlayed the Bruins and the Oilers. That's it. I didn't see enough out of Toronto to get excited about what's going on. Edmonton's in their first game of the series. Edmonton's a steep price at minus 165. I mean, if we're up and smoking these books tonight, then I might just jump back in there on that fucking spot anyways. But I don't trust Cam Talbot in net for the LA Kings. The Oilers just have way too much firepower, and it's the first game of the series for those guys. Remember what we've seen over the weekend. Home teams, first game of a series, kicking the shit out of everybody. I expect this LA Kings team that everybody thought was winning the Stanley Cup in October to find it flat on their face here for this big game for McDavid, Hyman, Draisaitl, and the squad out there. But it's a parlay for me. It's a plus 170 spot with Boston and Edmonton. I also looked at a Jake DeBrusk anytime goal. It's a plus 285 spot. He's got 2 power play goals that last game out there. He plays on the second line and the power play line with Brad Marchand. So there's a lot of connectivity and continuity between these two guys out there. And he shoots the puck a lot. So I like Jake DeBrusk plus 285. It's not an official play for me. Just a spot that I wanted to share with you guys. You look at this thing. They're going back to Samsonov with Toronto. He got busted up 5-1 that last game. 4 goals on 23 shots, was an 82.6% save percentage. They're not going to the other goaltenders because they don't have other goaltenders. They need this guy to figure his shit out in this game. Could see it being a lower scoring game as well, but that's going to be the NHL for that game. I've got more NHL action, but just for time purposes, I want to talk about this NBA. I know you guys, for some reason, you guys love this fucking sport, and I love making money off it. So let's get into it and let's talk about this. T, I hope that's cool with you to float on the fly here, but the first game we've got on the deck is the Magic and the Cavaliers. The Orlando Magic open up as 5.5-point road dogs. 49% of the bets, only 33% of the cash on the Orlando Magic. So money coming in on the Cavs, and there hasn't been any movement. Then we look at the total, and the total's starting to climb up. We have 33% of the bets, but 89% of the cash on the over in this game. Shown enough concern that the books have moved this number up. We now have a total sitting at 206. 206 is out there at minus 114. So put this together earlier. It was 204.5. It's now 206. Look at This is exactly what happened to me the last 3 days in the NBA. I am not concerned about it. I'm going to go. I've got the first half now under -110. I'm sorry. Let me start that over. The first half under 105 is -110. And the full game is under 206 at -105. -105 is out there on Caesars at 206. So those will be official numbers. My first half under 105, full game under 206. Look, newsflash. I'm playing that first half under in every single game. No, you guys, we're 12-2. We kicked this thing off. We talked about it last week. No reason. We're first ones to talk about it. It was 3-1. We came in there. We started busting it up. The Knicks, I'm sorry, wrong game there. As I'm looking at these two spots, though, teams off a loss with less wins than their opponent are 16-0 to the under after game 1 in a series in the playoffs when the total's less than 213. Low totals stay low. They're putting points in our back pocket with this thing moving up to 206. It's plenty good for me. When the total's less than 215 in the previous game, the under is 15-1 in the next spot as well, as long as it's not in the second round of those matchups. So this is a double dipper for me in this first half. First half under, as I said, 105. The full game under 206. You got to ride the wave. We took it early. We were staying on it. We cashed it all fucking weekend long. One loss over the weekend. 7-1 over the weekend. And we're rolling back to it here. I like this to be that lower scoring game. I got a spot for the Magic in the under as well. The Magic are 5-0 to the under. They're going under by 16 points a game when they scored less than 95 points the previous game. Let's not forget what happened the last time these two teams rolled out there. We saw 97-83. No reason to believe the Magic are going to bust over 90 points in this game. That trend that I just talked about with the 5-0 to the under, going under by almost 16 points a game, they're not even getting to 90 points in those spots out there. So this is a big double spot for me. The first half under and the full game under 206. So that's going to be how we kick this thing off. Marcus McCarthy says, let's go Pirates. Fernando Mendoza 1-0. Let's go. Yeah. Marcus McCarthy says, yes, sir. This Razor play. That's right. Razor's on that as well, right? He likes that under. I'm sure he got 204, but 6-1 half a dozen the other. Juggler 23 says, big late money coming in on the Bruins. I think this is a decent buy low situation on the Leafs. The Leafs haven't shown me shit to believe that they should be bet on at this point, but it is game 2. It is game 2, and it's an important game, but I don't know that they're going to be able to go split this one in Boston here. Maybe they pick up game 5, but anyhow, that's the first NBA game. Double dip in the unders for me. Again, I'm just riding the model. I'm riding the train, and we're going to keep getting that cash. So first game, first half under, full under. Game number 2. PHL, baby. We got the Knicks and the Sixers, a line that opened at 5. Has dropped now. There's 4.5. This thing got up to 6, and it's starting to come back as well. 59% of the bets, 69% of the cash on the Sixers. The line is starting to drop. The total is dropping as well. 209.5 is now 206 with 72% of the bets and 90% of the cash on the over. We have reverse line movement. We're going again. Not fucking around with you guys. I already dropped these in. 105.5 is the best number for the first half under. It's -120 at Bet Rivers. I'm taking it. Not fucking around. We're not here to fuck around. We've been cashing on this thing. We're going to get that cash. The first half under 105.5. If you can only get the 104.5, I'm still good with that too. But I'm going to tell you what, I'm double whacking the Sixer spot too. I don't care about this. I mean, I should care about the injury factors here, but I expect these boys to get rolling. Fact is, this number's coming down now. That 3.5 is now 2.5 out there on the first half for the Sixers. Plus 2.5. And then the full game is now 5s and moving down to 4.5s. So we've got those hookers moving on out there, right? The time to pay the rent. The hookers are on the move. And for us, plus 2.5 first half and plus 5 full games here. I started off with the first half in this game. I thought to myself, with the Embiid factor, Maxey situations, there's a lot of things that are kind of floating in the peripheral out there. This is a fucking must-win game for the Sixers. They should have won that last game. Shout out to our guy, Billy Briz. He talked about this team, and he said, they just need to split these 2 games. They're trying out this first game. I know Embiid's questionable, but my theory with the first half was Let me, if they put him on minutes restriction, if they start getting busted up, like then you're not going to see Embiid probably in that second half. So at the end of the day, though, Maxey was the question mark. He's now been upgraded to probable, so he should play, and that's why that line's moving. So it's 2.5 now. It sucks that I lost the point on that, but it is what it is. And then it's 5 as well on the total. So +5, first half, +2.5. It's a try-banger for me in this spot, and it's for a reason. Again, I think these boys come out there and they get right in this situation. The Knicks are 9-0 to the under going back to May of 2021 when they shot less than 41.5% their last game out there. And let's not forget what happened that last game. You know, there was some fuckery in that second quarter. It was adjustment period. Philly outscored them Knicks 34-25 in the first quarter. In the Garden, came on the road, lit them up. Then they were held to 12 points in the second quarter. I don't know what the fuck happened out there, but, you know, that was a bad spot, 58-46. I expect him to fix those wrongs, be able to go out there. You know, there's a lot of ambiguity with that Embiid situation in his knee, but to me, it's an opportunity for the Sixers to get right here, and it's a lot of points. Not mad at anybody that wants to take the money line. I just thought the points, the value for me is on having the 5 in the back pocket there. This is a 2-point, 3-point game at best, so I don't suspect it being in blowout category, but time will tell. Time will tell. Again, the Knicks in that under trend out there, they're failing to get to triple-digit scoring. We're rolling back in that first half under 105.5. And let's talk about the last game on the NBA card, then we'll pop back over to the NHL. I told you guys, lit this card up today. Lit it up. I'm excited about it. We've been cashing, kicking ass, and taking names, seeing the board incredibly well, and I expect that to continue tonight. Let's talk about this Lakers game. Speaking of seeing it well, what did I say last week? I think it was on the sesh. Matter of fact, it was on the sesh. I'll tell you exactly what I said here. We're pulling out fucking Mike M quotes from the Winnipeg Jets game. Let's talk about what I said in that game. LeBron doesn't give a fuck about this season. He wants to play with his kid. His best case opportunity was win that last game, go out there and play Denver. And if you bust him up, great. If you don't, your season's over. It's early enough that he can get the rest. He can recharge, he can rehab, and then he can figure out what's going to happen with this kid. That's the situation that we're in right now. When we look at this situation, we've got the Lakers. Big opportunity here. This number opened at 6.5. It's moved to 7. 49% of the bets and 55% of the cash on the Lakers have moved it to 7. We're starting to see some 6.5s float back in there. This was as high as 7.5 earlier this morning. Then we see a total that has not moved. 67% of the bets and 86% of the cash on the over, and yet it hasn't moved. The way that I dissected this one is I'm double dipping this first half. Guess what the first half play is? The under. I'm taking the under 115.5. It's -112 out there for the first half of this Lakers game. I'm laughing because I just cashed on it. I mean, it's cash cow. Talk about Troy Torrance and the cash cow right now. That's this first half. Now, fair warning. It is hitting at a 64% clip. So at some point, we should see the law of regression come into play here, but I still believe that these unders are live for the second game as well. And then I took the Lakers first half. I took the spread on the Lakers in the first half. And the theory there was LeBron's got to start this thing up and get rolling. LeBron has never lost to a team 9 straight times in his career. So big factor out there for LeBron right now. Does that mean that it's going to happen now? No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. But the Lakers are 7-0 in the first half on the road. They started out ahead that last game as well. You know, you look at the numbers kind of by the X's and O's. Home teams in game 1 and game 2 of the first round facing an opponent that made last year's postseason are 107-63 against the spread. They're hitting at a 62% clip. To me, I wanted to isolate this thing to the first half of this game. One, because there's hockey on. I could, you know, for me, that's where I want to watch. I'll watch LeBron go out there and fuck around, and hopefully we find out. But you know, you want to get into it as well. Game 2, the first round, facing a repeat playoff opponent, 28-7. They've gone 10-0 over the last 2 seasons. Not a good spot long term for Denver, for the Lakers, but I think they can start out with enough in this game to get there and at least cover that 4.5. They do need this win. It's a big spot for them, but I do suspect kind of the narrative there. LeBron's done. He just wants to go out there, face this team, do what he has to do, but he could probably go out there and ball hog and stat check. And, you know, he can go out. I see a lot of props are juiced to him and Joker with their point props out there, 25+. So that probably doesn't happen. But to me, LeBron gets that phantom injury at halftime, and then the second half falls to shit, and the Denver Nuggets come out there and kick the shit out of him. So I'm all over this first half, plus 4.5, and the under 115.5. I like Contavious Caldwell-Pope over 2.5 threes as well. Look, we've been piloting this strategy this season, pretty much all season long when it comes down to it. We're looking for the guy that's kind of under the radar, and you got, obviously you got Murray and you got Joker. Those are the two guys that, they're going to take the defense. They're going to take the aggression. They're going to take all of the focus away from Contavious Caldwell-Pope. His betting number is normally 1.5 threes, and it's juiced to fuck. That was how it was in game one. He made 4 in the third quarter of game one, and that was after they were already busting up them Lakers. So you look back at it there, he had 11 field goals. 10 of those opportunities from field goal were from beyond the arc last game. He's getting those opportunities to chuck it back, and you can pick that thing up at a plus 150. So heavy lean to me on the Contavious Caldwell-Pope opportunity out there. In fact, let me just look at the threes right now. Just a theory, right? We talked about this with a couple of guys. We had Joker with the over 1.5 threes the other day as well, where it came down to the matchup. They're going to go kind of gum these guys up in the middle, and they're going to look for that opportunity to kind of kick it back. Who's wide open and who's taking plenty of opportunities to chuck the rock? It's Contavious Caldwell-Pope. He's plus 142 right now. He is plus 142 right now. So it has dropped a little bit from pre-show notes out there for anybody that's interested in it. But that's going to do it for the NBA. I'll give you guys the rundown again. First half under 105 and under 206 in the Cleveland Cavaliers game. I looked at the Phillies. I got the Phillies first half plus 2.5, the full game plus 5, and the first half under 105.5. And then I went Lakers first half plus 4.5, and the Lakers first half under 115.5. There's your NBA plays. That's a 3-pack in the NBA I told you, a shitload of action today. It's been an incredibly profitable weekend. We're pressing forward. When we see the board clear, we go out there, we get the hammer, and we start building this thing up. And that's exactly what I'm looking to do tonight. Let's go back to the NHL and talk about these other two games that I've got action in. So I already gave you guys that parlay with Boston and Edmonton, right? That's the first one off the tick sheet. Let's talk about the Islanders and Carolina game out this game here. We've got kind of that rematch spot there. We just talked about this one on Saturday. Nailed that to a fucking T. 3-1 empty netter. We got the plus. We extracted as much plus money out of that game as you possibly could. Just having a side or a total out there. Lots of people love the regulations. They were minus 140s. Nobody was against it. But minus 1.5 was a nice plus 120 spot for us. We got that cash. As we look at this game, it starts at 7:30 Eastern. What do we have going on in this game here? We've got Varlamov and we've got Freddie Anderson out there. You guys know, you've heard me talk about Freddie Anderson, fresh Anderson out there. This guy sat out almost a half of the season with blood clots and medical conditions. So you look at Varlamov on the other side of things. They're going to go back to Varlamov. He played well. He had 23 saves on 25 shots in game one. So he's running it back out there. And the spot that I'm jumping in on is a full game under 5.5. We'll start right off there. We've got the under 5.5 starting to catch some steam now. I see minus 120s, but I see 125s, 129s, even a 130 out there now on this under 5.5. This series, despite the pregame write-ups there, and we talked about, Patrick Waugh coming in, kind of trying to turn this team into a more offensive or aggressive-oriented team. He did. So they do have kind of two faces that they can wear when it comes down to it, but I think this game's a little different. The challenge for the Islanders in this game is they can't afford to, they're juicy dogs, first of all. They can't afford to fall 2 games back. They don't score enough to go out there and fall 2 games back. They do have some guys that can go get the job done, but this Carolina team made key moves at the trade deadline to beef up and roll into the playoffs. I got the under 5.5. I also added the first period under 1.5. I see it's now minus 126, minus 130s, minus 135s. FanDuel's got the best number at, I hate to say that out loud. I hate that I just said that out loud. How these two teams profile, they played in the playoffs last year. The under 1.5 in the first period hit every single game last year. They had a 6-game series. It hit every single game. Last game, the over 1.5 hit, the first game of this series. Both teams had scored a goal in that spot. I just told you, the Islanders can't afford to fuck around and fall behind in this game. They got to play defense. They're not going to take a lot of chances. They got to stay out of the penalty box. And the series history between these two teams, the way that they play, we were talking about this after the trade deadline. Carolina is an under team. That makes a ton of sense. When you look at these two teams and the way they played previous season, they're an under team. And the first half under 1.5 to me at minus 126, and the full game under 5.5 at minus 120 is good money. Curious to hear what you guys have to say. I know we had to kind of go through quite a bit. Still got to figure out if we're going to move this time slot up a little bit here, because we got to get into it. And certainly I want to make sure that we recognize what you guys have to say as well. There's Von Polo says, do you guys like Baltimore tonight? I'll tell you, there's a 26-1 spot for the LA Angels tonight. So that's a tricky spot. That's another one of those numbers that just doesn't seem to be priced right for a team in Baltimore that everybody just crowned the World Series champs in the first 2 weeks of the season. JW says Lakers will give up in the fourth quarter like last time. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why I hammered that first half, not the full game. And the spacing of these games means you're hearing the plays that I'm on now, but that doesn't mean you can't go out there and start early, get a couple of these early games. By the time 10:30 rolls around, you should have money freed up to go in there and hit these later games. So Ron Lofton's on the Nuggets minus 6.5. Juggler 23 says Nuggets, my biggest bet of the night. I think they're just on another level. I don't disagree. LeBron will stat check, but he's done. Yeah. I think it's enough points for them not to get busted up in the first half, but then probably full game they end up getting their faces kicked in. So we'll see what happens. But Carolina Panthers first period under 1.5 minus 126, full game under 5.5. And then the last game of the night, the one we have not talked about. Everyone's excited about it. It's a big one out there. Speaking of giving people the championships before they've actually earned it, everybody loves the Dallas Stars to win the chip in this one. And I know all the narratives. They beat them last year. It's because Dallas doesn't have enough fucking heart to go out there and win games. They were so heavily reliant on overtime. I got it. Ottinger's killing it. The goaltending suspect. Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill are still a 1-2 punch to be reckoned with. Ottinger had a shit middle of the season. He started picking it up the last month of the season. So I'll give that to him from a goaltending perspective. But if you're rolling the revenge narrative, why didn't they do it in the regular season? Just tell me that. Why didn't the Dallas Stars find a way in regular season to revenge that playoff loss from last year? Oh, and you add Jack Eichel. You're bringing in Stone. You got a team that's rolling, and they're going to the hot hand in goal with Logan Thompson. Look, 2 of the last 4 games of the season, he allowed 2 or fewer goals in those games out there. Logan Thompson's been playing fine. Ottinger's definitely playing well. There's no question about it. 2 or fewer goals in 10 of his last 11 games. You guys have heard me say it all NHL season long. You keep the puck out of the net, you win those games more often than not. 10-1 over that 11-game stretch for Ottinger to close the season out. But if you could have done it, you would have done it out there. You're telling me 3 games in the regular season, they couldn't find a way to stump the Schwab in this spot there. How about this one? Home favorite loss going into the first game of the NHL playoffs. Avenging that home favorite loss are 140 and 110 over a 250-game sample size. We got essentially that slight edge. And that slight edge to me means that we can go out there and catch a plus 120 spot out there. There's 118s, there's 120s. Might even go up a little bit more by the time we get the puck drop, but I'm on this Vegas Golden Knights team. You can talk about this. Are all the home teams going to win again? If there's one home team that I think can lose this game and this series outright, it's this Dallas Stars team here. I think Vegas has got their number. They know how to beat these guys, and they're dangerous. They have some firepower. They have some offense. We're going to go and we're going to ride that Vegas Golden Knights spot at plus 120 action to get paid. Last but not least, you guys, in that Edmonton Oilers game, I would look to, if you're looking for player prop opportunities in that game, I would look to Hyman. I would look to Zach Hyman as one of those guys. You know, my money's where my mouth is. He's in my PSR, my Pub Sports Radio NHL parlay pool, whatever you want to call that NHL bracket that we did. I don't know what to call it. Nonetheless, I do have Hyman in there. You know what I like? Here's the thing. Here's what I said. And Hyman is going to be an official play for me. He's a 145 anytime goal scorer. Zach Hyman, plus 145. The way I'm doing this strategically, if you look at the way I've been doing these plays all year, a lot of plays, I'm going for this Edmonton-Boston spot, right? I'm touching that game at plus 170. I'm going to isolate a spot in this game to kind of push it over the top, or at least try to get us back to break even and then a little bit of a profit. That's the way we do this. That's why these numbers and the records look the way they do. It's just the consistency of it's a numbers game. It's all numbers game. Unfortunately for, my math teachers growing up, I was not the smartest math guy. I had to work on it. I worked on it damn hard. I figured that shit out, and that's all numbers right now. When I look at Zach Hyman, though, 54 goals on the season, a career best for Zach Hyman. And why? Plays on a line with Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid's got over 100 assists on the season. Connor McDavid has been looking to build his players up around him. Nobody has been the beneficiary more than Zach Hyman. Connor McDavid takes the puck out of the zone, dipsy doodles around everybody on the ice. Then he goes out there, he tries to beat the goalie with a shot, and who's there to cough up the garbage and bang it in the net? It's Zach Hyman out there. Let Connor McDavid carve him up, dice that defense into a Ginsu type of situation, and then Zach Hyman to go finish her home at plus 145 anytime goal scorer. Let me just double check and make sure that's still the best number that's out there for Zachy Hyman. I'll tell you the other thing I looked at too, the number discrepancy through the roof. If you look at DraftKings, the number one guy projected to score a goal in that game is Zach Hyman. So the numbers, you're going to have to shop this one around to make sure that you extract maximum value here. BetMGM does have him at plus 145 still. And we're seeing it kind of dropping across the board, even money now on some books. So get your asses over to BetMGM and get that Zach Hyman plus 145 spot there. That's going to do it for us here. That's a monster card for you guys. I'll break it down. We'll go top to bottom again, and then we'll get everybody up out of here. Get you onto your evenings. Jose gave us this parlay, the Minnesota Twins and the Toronto Blue Jays. Struggling to figure. I'm Rolodexing all these Toronto teams at plus 185. Minnesota, Toronto, plus 185 in Major League Baseball. He also gave us the first 5 under 4.5 in the Phillies game. I'm on the under 8.5 in the Phillies game. I see that it's 2-0 already. Jose's on the Toronto Blue Jays at minus 110. I've got the Toronto under 9.5 spot. I triple whacked this White Sox game, plus 192 full game, first 5 plus 172, and Vaughn to get an RBI at plus 165. It's just a straight fade of Chris Paddock for me. Respect anybody that's on the other side. I just can't do it with Chris Paddock. The guy has been bleeding runs. Jose's on Arizona Diamondbacks. He got him at even money against the St. Louis Cardinals, fading the Cardinals in the first game of a series. I love to hear Jose tell him that one to me. That's a lot of fun. He did go. I might have talked him into it there. He went Colorado first 5 plus 140. I, in fact, am on the San Diego Padres minus 1.5. It's now minus 115. In the NHL, I've got Boston and Edmonton parlay at plus 170. Zach Hyman to get a goal for the Edmonton Oilers at plus 145. The first period under 1.5 at minus 126. The under 5.5 in that Carolina game. I'm on the Vegas Golden Knights. Everybody's on the Dallas Stars with respect. The NBA, we're rolling that first half under train. It's 12-2 in the last 14 games. We've been all over it. We're going double dipping in this Orlando game. The first half under 105, under 206. The Sixers game, we got the Sixers first half. Now, unfortunately, plus 2.5. I got it at 3.5, but I still give it out. We'll track it officially for show purposes at 2.5. Philly plus 5, and the first half under 105.5 was juicy at minus 120. Last but not least, to close the show out, the Lakers first half plus 4.5, minus 120. The Lakers first half under 115.5 at minus 112. And then I leaned to you guys there with Contavious Caldwell-Pope over 2.5 3-pointers plus 142. That's how we're going to do it up there. Appreciate you guys all rocking with us on your way out the door. Smash that thumbs up button for us, guys. We will get this timing better. It was a big card today, so I apologize to anybody that had to rush it in there. We tried to give you guys the NBA and NHL stuff for 7 and then circle back to it. Mikey D says, is Las Vegas a best bet? Hell yeah, it's a best bet for me, my guy. I was only going to play one. Shit, if I was only going to play one, I'd probably play Boston and Edmonton parlay at plus 175. But I am all over that Vegas spot. I think that's a great look. Shit, I listen, it's hard for me. The first half unders in the NBA, it's a lot of action. Made a lot of money this weekend. So I'm just putting it back. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm letting you guys know exactly what I'm playing, exactly how I played it. And you'll always get that out of me. Transparency is paramount to what we do here. I appreciate all you guys, man. Justin McCalvey says, great show, Mike M. Subhuman Gaucho says, great show, Mike. Best of luck to everyone tonight. North Ender says, get money. Fernando Mendoza, my guy out there, says over 6. Old E says, can't find the Magic game local, and I'm 40 minutes from Orlando. Is NBA TV subscription only? I don't know how to answer that question. Get yourself a Fire Stick, my guy. Get yourself a Fire Stick and use some IPTV. Real Deal Prime says, Lindy Ruff, Sabres head coach. I did see that. Here we go again. Lucky Power likes the Oilers money line and the under 5.5. Nice little same game parlay for our guy, Lucky Power. Jay Peasy says, I don't like Urias in for Mountcastle and no A. Hayes. Yeah. I did say I was going to tell you guys what that stat was too. So let me see if I can find it right quick. Favorites off a small win or an outright loss as a dog are 16-1 if their starter won their previous start as a dog. So that's an Angels play on spot there, 16-1 spot for the Angels tonight. But play as you will. Nothing official for me in that game, you guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. Good luck with your action. Go out there, follow us on X at PimpSlapPOD. When I go live, you'll be in the know. Turn the notifications on. Subscribe to Pub Sports Radio and go out there and get to be a member. We got it now, $9.99 a month. You get yourself ownership in a virtual horse. They got twice a week horse racing going on out there. You get discounts to the merch store out there. We got swag. We got pub rub. We got all kinds of shit in that merch store. You're going to want to check that out for yourselves. We might have some last call information coming soon. So appreciate everybody rocking and rolling. Good luck with your cash, and I'll see everybody later, man. We be putting.